I'm Jen.
And I'm Nick.
We live and love in Ottawa.
We know that feeding a family of 4 can be tough.
So we put together some of our favorite
and affordable
recipes to keep everyone smiling.
Grab a seat at our table and enjoy
our frugal family meal. Bread is probably not the first thing that comes to mind when you think summer, but we are going to be making some fancy frugal toasts, otherwise known as tartines.
Toasts. Sounds like we're gonna need a drink soon.
So I'm just taking some blanched peas. So I cooked these earlier. They were just frozen peas, and put them in an ice bath. I'm just gonna add a little bit of mustard. We have 2 different kinds. So this is just some regular Dijon. It's better than your regular ballpark mustard. And this is some grainy Dijon, so it just adds a little bit of crunch. And just gonna add a little bit of lemon zest for some flavor punch. All right, let's just mash this a little bit. Make sure that everything is combined.
Right now I am just finishing up dicing some of the tomato. The tomato that we got in our garden box was huge, and I don't want to waste, well, not waste, but use the whole thing. So I'm just going to do a couple of slices off of that to get this ready for one of our tartines. And I've already sliced some radish nice and thin to go with them as well. And so I'm just going to be working on our avocado.
Okay, I'm just going to cut the breads. These nicely baked ciabattas.
They're fun to make. I gotta say, making bread's one of my favorite things to do in the kitchen. It usually takes me forever, so I usually have to start a day in advance, which is why they're day olds now.
All right, let's grill these toasts. So just medium-high heat for 2 seconds aside. Should do the trick.
Time for the drinks. Now I'm thinking today we're gonna do a grapefruit drink. Sound good?
Perfect. I love grapefruit.
So this is gonna be pretty straightforward. We're gonna make it kid appropriate as always. The only difference is going to be the bubbly. So to make this one, we're gonna cheat just a little bit. We're going to use a grapefruit, but before you go to juice it, cut off just a little bit extra for a garnish. Ooh, and that smells fantastically fresh. Every morning, we usually have a glass of grapefruit juice split in with a little bit of orange juice.
Freshly squeezed.
There's no other way. To try to cut down on dishes, what we're gonna do is we're gonna just juice this directly into a glass. Now you can use your bare hands if you want. I find grapefruits are a little large and they can be a little juicy, so a little bit of extra help doesn't hurt. Now we're using about 2 ounces of grapefruit juice. Depending on how tart it is, you may want to use some simple syrup, or you may be able to get away with just the grapefruit juice. Now, since the kids aren't here and yelling and screaming, we'll take care of ourselves first. It's a party, it's official now. Does give a little bit of extra bubbly to it now, doesn't it? All right, I'll put them in a nice big cube. And we'll give it a little swizzle with some rosemary. And dress it up with this, go all out. One for you.
Thank you.
And for me. Before we do our toast, we should check on the toast on the barbecue.
All right, so I'm just gonna take this brie and put it on one of the toasts, and I'll take the other 2 off.
I'm just gonna finish with the kids' drinks.
So I'm just gonna add some of the ricotta to one of them. And top that with pea mixture. Thank you, Nick, for the radishes.
My pleasure.
avocado. I like to season my avocado before I put the topping on, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of pepper and a little bit of salt. And then I'll top that with the tomato. Thank you.
I'm just gonna get that last bit of toast,
Thank
and
you.
I'll wave to the kids next door. Ooh.
I'm just gonna finish that one with a little drizzle of balsamic vinegar.
There we are.
So to this one, I'm just gonna add the blackberry topping that Nick so kindly mashed. Do you wanna chop up a little bit of that basil, please?
Yeah, sure.
Cheers.
You mean toast.
Go.
Time for the second toast. You know this is good when you're getting the nods.
Nothing fresher on a summer day like a beet salad. All right, so these are just some pecans that I toasted on the barbecue. I'm just gonna add a little bit of salt.
Now while you do that, I'm gonna stick with just slicing these beets nice and thin, but not too thin. Beets are a great way to include vegetables in a meal, particularly if you hide them in things, like chocolate cake. We've done that for the kids more than once. It's been fantastic. Beets can be a little tricky because they can take a long time to prepare, but beets are now available through supermarkets, stores, pre-cooked, so it saves you a lot of time and, considering the electricity costs, a little bit of money.
Life saver. So I'm just making a quick dressing here, super simple. Got my trusty little mason jar here again. So just some shallot, gonna give that a quick chop. Shallots are great because they impart both onion and garlic flavor. I just learned that the other day, actually. And because I like extra garlic, I'm just gonna add a garlic clove to the dressing. Also, who doesn't like extra garlic, right, Nick?
Oh yeah. I also enjoy not having to worry with stained cutting boards, so that's why I've got this black one down on top of our regular one. Beets have a tendency to stain very badly, so to avoid there being any issues, we usually keep some biodegradable gloves on hand, as well as we have a spare cutting board that doesn't show any color.
I'm just gonna finish up the dressing with some extra virgin olive oil, a lot of extra virgin olive oil.
Usually whenever you do extra virgin olive oil and a vinegar dressing, you usually do a ratio of 1:1, is that right?
Yeah, so I'll do the same of sherry vinegar, just to switch things up. You could use balsamic vinegar, or white wine vinegar, or apple cider vinegar, whatever you have on hand. And just give that a shake.
And I'm gonna shake my tail over there and be a little bit more helpful. So into our serving bowl, we're going to take our baby spinach. Now you can use adult spinach if you want, but baby spinach is a little bit more palatable for our kids. So that's one of the reasons why we enjoy using that. Would you like to pass me the goat cheese?
Do the beets first.
You got it, boss.
Can you just cut them in half?
A little bit large still?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, not a problem. Now you'll be able to see right away, the color imparts itself right on my hands, which is why I should have asked first to be able to make sure I could save myself the hassle of some scrubbing later. And I'll just cut these up as well. And there you go.
There's the goat cheese.
Excellent. Now, if you wanted to go fancy, you could actually take the time to throw the goat cheese into the freezer for a few minutes, and with it being nice and cold, it'll be a lot firmer. You can actually do up little medallions of the goat cheese. Since we're outside and it's a little warm today, you can see that it's coming off in more gooiness clumps, which adds to the texture of it anyway. Allow me to...
Perfect. That's good. All right, so I'm just gonna dress it. And that is it.
much. Now, another trick to get the kids to eat this would be is if we wanted to put the extra step in and candy the nuts beforehand. It add an extra little bit of sweetness to it that would take the salad to the next level. That's another nodder. You gonna finish that, Beet? That to me screams summer. So what's next?
How about we hit the grill?
And then we can hit the pool. Time for the main course. We're doing pork tenderloin for a couple reasons. One, it's an affordable cut. Two, it's a lean cut. Now, pork doesn't necessarily have a lot of flavor on its own, but it will take on any flavor you want to give it, which is fantastic. And so today we're gonna dress it up with a marinade, as well as
parsley pesto. So these are just some herbs from our garden. I have some parsley, and I'm just throwing in chives because I have a lot of them. But you could put in basil or more parsley if you wanted. What else? Okay, a garlic clove or two. Some pine nuts. I particularly like pine nuts for pesto. You can toast them before you put them in here. That would impart a lovely flavor. But you can also use a nut like almonds or cashews or pecans, really any nut you could use. And some salt. And some pepper. And last but not least, the cheese. I like a cheesy pesto, so I'm gonna try and put a lot in. So if you wanted to make this vegetarian, you could use a cashew cheese instead of the Parmesan. Last is the oil, but I'm gonna do that as I'm processing the pesto. I'll hold it for you.
That'd be great, thank you very much. So I finished trimming our pork tenderloin. It's a very lean cut, but there is a little bit of silver skin, so you do want to remove that. Now from here, we're just going to dress it up a little.
I'll chop your herbs for you, okay?
Thank you very much. Now I'm just gonna put in olive oil. Plays a major role in a lot of the food that we eat at home. It's a healthy, tasty oil, which is great. Some Dijon. Is this the spicy Dijon that I like?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. All right. That's fantastic. And the only thing we're missing now, of course, is a little bit of garlic. And we're just gonna give that a quick squisharoo and a chop through. And we're just gonna put that right in there. Excellent. Now you're gonna want to let this sit and marinate for a little while. Fortunately, we've already done that with another one, and I'm just gonna nip inside and get that, as well as wash my meaty hand, so we can go ahead and grill the one that we have prepared.
Sounds good.
Excellent. I'll just ask you to make sure to check the barbecue to see that it's good and hot for me. Let's get this on the grill. There's two different ways that you can cook a roast. You can either do direct heat, like if you're doing steaks, which is great, good grill marks, and then you can control to some degree how hot it's gonna be on the inside. Now with roasts, or the pork tenderloin like this bad boy, you may want to opt for an indirect heat. So you'd have it on indirect heat on one side and high heat on the other, which would allow it to be able to have warm barbecue throughout without having a direct searing action.
Low and slow.
Low and slow, that's right. In this case, we're doing a medium heat throughout to make sure we have beautiful cooking on the outside, and since it's pork, you can still be just a little pink on the inside. You don't have to have it in the old-fashioned grandma shoe leather style. Look at that. Huh? All right. Jen, I will let you do the honors.
Okay. So we'll just slice it into a few medallions.
Oh, perfectly pink. Just a little in the center. That's all you want. Now, some people would want it a little bit more done than that,
Like me.
but I think we're ready.
So to finish, we'll just add a little bit of pesto on top.
Shall we try?
So I think the pesto imparts a really good flavor on this meat. What do you think?
I think it tastes really good, but it's missing one thing: chocolate.
Fondue is a great way to finish a meal, especially with our family. It's one of our go-tos. It's our favorite. I'm just making a chocolate sauce. We're just doing it a little differently. Our family likes to add a little bit of cayenne to our sauce. Just changes things up a little bit. So I'm just gonna wait for this chocolate to melt into the simmering cream I have here, and then I'll add the rest of my ingredients. And Nick over here is chopping our fruits.
Any dessert that you can have that incorporates fresh produce is a great dessert. So it's one of the reasons why a fondue is so fantastic. And if you can get fruits and vegetables that are in season to use whenever you're making things, particularly dessert, maybe not so much the vegetable part, it is fantastic. So we're using some fresh strawberries that we got. And we've already got some pineapple as well too. The best part is it's always in season at our house. How's the sauce coming?
Yeah, it's good. So our chocolate is just about melted. So I'm just gonna add a splash of vanilla. A pinch of cayenne. And some cinnamon.
Are you thinking 1 banana, 2 banana, 3 banana, 4?
1 banana is plenty.
1 banana it is. Fun little tip when it comes to bananas. If you peel from the other end, you actually don't get any of those strands. There. I guess the only thing that's left now is the whipped cream.
Pass me a banana, I'll chop one more while you start the whipped cream.
Thank you very much. There's a trick to whipping whipped cream. If you want to put it in the freezer about 5 to 10 minutes before you go to whip it, it'll be extra cold. You can do the same thing with your bowl as well. The colder it is, the better it whips. Jen, if I could ask you to pass me a drop of vanilla in here.
Sure.
And a little bit of powdered sugar. Powdered sugar or granulated sugar both work. The nice thing about powdered sugar is it dissolves a little bit faster and easier. Now, you can also use a stand mixer or an egg beater, the old-fashioned kind. I like to do it by hand, just because it's as close as I get to a workout these days. That chocolate sauce looks great, Jen.
Thank you.
Ooh, that's a lot of beautiful whipped cream. I'm going for the whipped cream.
I'm gonna go for the chocolate.
Just the perfect amount of sweetness.
Perfect amount of spice. Let's go for a swim.